Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Hello, everyone. We're back for episode 409 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy. And, Tanner, you went way too fast this time. What the hell, man? Normally you've been going on and on.
I cut out like half of the things I've been saying. I don't know what happened.
I feel like I just got the rug pulled out from under me here. All right, do that again. So, introduce yourself again.
Hello, everyone. Actually, welcome all listeners, all first-time listeners, and all live listeners. Several supporting members tuning in live tonight. So special welcome to our supporting member live listeners. My name is Tanner, for any of you that are new to the show.
And my name is Tommy, for anyone that's new. And a little about me is I love rocking football towns, refs who shout first down, back-to-back Super Bowl wins.
With the Twins.
There it is.
Right here. Read him and weep.
Did you ever figure out where that postcard came from?
So this postcard, this is a little show and tell here, actually. This postcard came to me in the mail this week.
Which is the Coors Light
First
Twins.
I had the Christmas card with the twins on it. Now I get the second one. This was different twins. This is the Coors Light twins.
And now Mary's starting to get
one.
worried.
Yeah. She did send me a snap of this one, and she's like, you and your friends are idiots. And so this one has the Coors Light Twins on the front.
Here's to the Twins again, it says.
And on the back, it's just the note, the text, the note that they wrote right here is just "end the Twins." This is obviously some service. My Postcard is probably the site, I suppose. But classic, like 2003 advertising right there, isn't it?
That's great, man. It's like a time machine.
The Schimmel whatever twins. There they are. They're over 50 years old now.
Probably doing beer commercials in some other country now at this point.
Yeah, they've been relegated to lesser countries.
So you have no idea where it came from, though?
No, nobody's claimed it.
You
know, I'm sure there's some supporting member out there somewhere that is behind this, but I can't definitively say who did it for sure.
Man.
To be continued, but fun getting this in the mail. I did get a good nose breath out of this, absolutely.
That one would get me, seeing that one.
Yeah. You know what else gets me, Tommy? Full Blitz, the pre-workout formula from Build Fast Formula. You can check it out at buildfastformula.com. Check out their collections of supplements. They've got this pre-workout Full Blitz. They also have the 80-20 protein. I use the 80-20 protein every day. I use Full Blitz more sparingly because this is one badass pre-workout. I'll tell you what's going on with it. It comes in Rainbow Razzle, Blue Raz Rampage, Rocket Power Pop, Falcon Fruit Punch, or Power Up Peach.
Man.
Any of those options. And the serving size of 2 scoops of Full Blitz, there's a reason they call it Full Blitz, the fully loaded pre-workout formula. 335 milligrams of caffeine. So that packs a wallop amongst vitamin C, calcium, citrulline, beta-alanine, beta-anhydrous, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure to check it all out. Check out the Full Blitz if you want a pre-workout that packs a real wallop. And best part here, make sure to use discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% on anything you order every time you order from Build Fast Formula. Also, if you sign up for a subscription on any product, you save an additional 10%. Add them together, 20% off.
Oh, yeah. And today's episode, I'm getting distracted here, Tanner. I got funny stuff to tell you already. Today's episode is also brought to you by Swisslink. Since 1995, Swisslink has been importing military-issue goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Swisslink.com is home to the authentic Wavian fuel cans. They're from the same factory that's been making so-called jerry cans for the NATO forces since the 1940s. Made from 0.9 millimeter of cold-rolled steel, Wavians are the highest quality gas cans on the market. Big Mo of Swisslink has decided that a high-quality water can was needed as well, so Swisslink developed a stainless steel water can to match. It fits all your Wavian jerry can holders and is made from food-grade 304 stainless steel, so you can trust it to carry your drinking water. The cap is knurled for a good grip, and the spout screws into the bottom of the cap for convenient storage. A vent at the top ensures a good flow, and the can has the same three-handle configuration as its fuel counterpart. This is another addition to Swisslink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next order at swisslink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS at swisslink.com to save 15% on your next purchase. Thank you, Swisslink.
Spank you very much.
Oh, man, have we got stuff to talk about today.
Whew. Topics up the ass on this one, don't we? We got topics coming out the wazoo.
Yes, we do. First of all, before I forget, I just went to eBay and typed in Coors Light Twins. And the very first thing that pops up, Tanner, is a Coors Light Twins beer scary movie promotional cup. And on one side, it's the Twins, and it says Coors Light. And on the other side, it says, check out the Twins in Scary Movie 3. That's like a time machine right there.
Wow. A lot of time machine aspects of that.
And then there's a lot of postcards like what you have, but different ones of the Twins on postcards that says, here's to the Twins, Coors Light. Several of those. There's a postcard that's just a picture of a Coors Light Twins billboard. There's just autographed photos of the Twins. So yeah, lots of good stuff there. If you decide to take that route, there's material out there.
You know, we like them Twins. Still. Okay, new drop is as the time of recording, it's tomorrow. As the time you're listening, it's already out. Unless you're listening live, then it's literally we are in the present. The time is now. But new drop. We've got 4 new items in this drop. The 4th item actually showed up today, so we do get to include it in the drop. We haven't had a drop for a little while. We kind of gave everyone a break after the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, what was our what did we have in December? I forgot already now. Do we have a hoodie?
It was a December to remember. I know
that. It was a December to remember, but I don't remember
although I've
what
forgotten about it. I know we had the calendar.
The calendar and
the brown varsity.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone that listens to this knows what's going on.
So that's all we did there, and so we didn't have much in December. We didn't have anything new in January, and now we're bringing the heat on the 1st of February because we are locked and loaded. So what are we're going to reveal a couple things here, and we're going to leave a couple a mystery, although we just don't want to give away all the cats out of the bag for everything in the drop. But we will talk about a couple things. One thing we're not going to highlight is the new flag that we have for sale. There is a new flag that you can get your hands on if you are into flags. If you got the home gym, maybe you just decorate your living room, bathroom areas, dining areas with Massenomics flags.
Impress your spouse with your impeccable taste.
Yeah. So the flag is secret. It is a Massenomics art that you've seen before on other things, but never on a flag before. So it is new to our flag repertoire, I would say. Flag.
Joins the legendary flag collection.
Yes. And then we have a new tee. A new tee. I was really saying flag a lot. I don't know if you noticed. We have a new tee, and I think we decided we're not
we'll keep that
to
one
directly
a little
show
secret for now.
Yeah, there's a new tee. There's a new tee out there, and I think some people are gonna like this thing.
It might make a little bit of a chatter online when people see
there
this
might
one.
even be a couple of moles in our supporting member crew that already have this tee, as a matter of fact. So we'll see what it is that they're doing with it, and we'll see if they get called to the carpet, so to speak. Once
I don't even know what that means, but I'll just go with it.
Is that a saying, called to the carpet?
Probably.
Like, have you heard that before? Or when I said that, are you like, called to the carpet?
I don't think I've heard that before. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, it's to criticize someone for doing something wrong.
Yeah, call their ass to the
called
carpet.
to the carpet for missing the deadline.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see if anyone gets called to the carpet for being a mole.
I hope so.
It probably has its roots in something either like really racist or sexist. Seems like most sayings
old
that
things
you think,
do, yeah.
Yeah, most sayings that you think are pretty innocent, it's like, oh, that was horrific.
Yep. It was,
that was a
just
terrible
from a
thing.
different time, and they let it slide.
Yeah. Okay, and so we're not going to highlight the shirt as of yet, but this is the head to toe drop. So where should we start, the head or the toes?
Maybe the head.
There's been some question if Massenomics slides were the toe, and no, they're not the toe. There's no slides. So the head.
February? Are you people crazy?
Yeah, the head. Right here. We got a couple head options. These are hats that you wear on your head when it's maybe when it's cooler out, or maybe you're just into wearing these like in coffee shops when it's hot. I don't know how people wear beanies like when it's warm.
All the time.
Yeah. I would be so sweaty. My head would be sweating a lot.
And then
some people do it.
Once you have long hair, it really messes up your hair for the day when you got that beanie on too.
Yeah, it's a commitment to go with
the
beanie.
We got two beanies. We got the Massenomics varsity script embroidered on them. It's hard to tell from the camera there, Tanner, but it is embroidered, and the embroidery turned out great on those.
Yeah, the back doesn't have anything on, but the front right here. I really hold these up nice and close and stuff so you can see them. But yeah, what do we call that? Our varsity script.
Mm-hmm.
It's a red and white embroidery, and either on this black hat or the gray one. So hell of a nice pair of hats there that you can wear right on your head.
Still a lot of winter left.
And the beanie we used here would be the same if you happen to be one of the people that bought one of our
second batch
military green, or most recent black beanies.
Mm-hmm.
Not like our first batch. Our first batch were a little lighter.
Yep,
these are a little bit heavier.
Slightly heavier weight than our first ever batch of beanies that we did.
Yeah. And then, well, we talked about the head. Should we get to the toe?
Let's get to the toes.
The toes. For all you feet people out here, what are we looking at? Some new socks. New Massenomics Crew socks. And these are black and gray. It's got the Massenomics logo on the shin area, I guess. The
on
lower
the
shin
shaft.
is where that would ride. And then the bottom of it, again, like our other Crew socks, does say lift hard, live easy on it. We did flip it.
There was multiple requests, so when you put your feet up, people can read it. So we did flip it to accommodate for that. So when you're kicking back at your desk now, people can read the bottom of your feet.
Joey asked if it's the same blank. Yes, it is. Although maybe it's just because all my other ones have been used a lot.
Yeah.
And these are so brand
These ones
new.
do shrink.
This seems really substantial right now. Like the bottom seems really cushioned. And I don't remember my other ones seeming this cushioned.
I think they were the first
it's just because
time.
they're brand new.
Yeah, then you wear them and wash them a bunch. And
yeah, we bought. They're supposed to be exactly the same as the other Crew sock blanks that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And here they are. I like the black and gray.
Yeah, looks really good.
I like it a lot. Okay. And is there a left and a right? No, they're universal for your feet.
You can put them on any of your feet. Works on all of them.
So that's our new drop. Stay tuned for the rest of it. Or if you're just listening to this and we're past February 1st, go to our website and check it out. You'll see everything else that we didn't mention there.
Maybe something for the middle portion of your body.
Yes, this area.
Somewhere between your neck and your toes.
Yes. No, the socks are sold in pairs, too. I didn't mention that.
Oh, yeah, not singles.
You have to buy pairs of socks. No, we don't sell one at a time. So I know we have one-armed monster. Or wait, no, what's
yeah, right? One-armed.
The one-armed guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Could someone tag him on Discord if they could? I haven't seen anything from him for a while. But I think he has both legs, so the sock thing would, he would even
One
want
arm
pairs.
Hercules, yeah. There you go.
One arm Hercules.
Yes.
So he would still want a pair of socks, unless he was going to use them for his hands.
Right,
In which case he only
Then
has
you have
one.
a backup.
Yeah. Spare.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what do we want to hit on next? Do we do the can? We got a special
Yeah,
can. We got a
maybe
real
should
what's
do
in the can
I'm gonna
segment.
get thirsty here.
Yeah. This is a real legitimate what's in the can segment.
And
did you have any paraphernalia that came along with yours?
well, I haven't even opened the package yet. I was getting.
I just opened right before.
I was
just
afraid to
opened
open
right
the
before
package
this.
because I always think
Okay.
that I'm going to give some major surprise away. So I wait to open it all.
So this is a fan submitted what's in the can, and it is wrapped. Mine was taped up, so you won't see what's in the can.
So I can
also
safely
put
open this.
I put mine already in one of our strong and silly koozies with the goose on the other side, and also it's sitting.
Mine
in
took
a right now.
a surprisingly long time to arrive. Like we weren't holding off on this one. Mine did not show up until like 4 days ago. Because you said you'd had yours a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I've had mine for like 2 weeks actually.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is from one of the Davids. One of the Davids.
When I get it,
He sent me a note.
I got a note too.
And he also sent me an extra picture with mine too. So this is I've got a lot of like picture postcardy things on this one. So here's a meme that he printed out on a picture of me, and it's is this a cherry Coke?
And it's
a seltzer original, calorie free, polar plain. And it's me saying, "Is this a cherry Coke?" And it's me wearing the old Massenomics blindfold.
because you
He
did have a
mailed
stretch
me a meme.
thinking everything was cherry Coke.
So I'm gonna have to find a good place to hang this along with this. Now I've got to figure out where these go. And he said one print, artist, one of the Davids, valuation $6.9 million.
That's a fair valuation.
So I've got a long note here too. Did you get a note?
I have a long handwritten note here.
Okay, mine at the top of it says, "Feel free to read on air if you want." Does yours say that or not?
It does not, but I think I could read it.
Okay, well here, I'll read mine first at least. He says, "Big Tanner, here's a special can that Polar sent to each of the Davids. We wouldn't want anyone to suspect us as the new moles, so hopefully that's already feels really suspicious."
It does.
To say like, yeah, I'm not like. If
I got to
says
get
I'm
out in front
not
of
a mole,
this. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully this keeps the heat off of us. No, the heat's already on the Davids. Like they're top of the list suspect. For a true what's in the can, make sure Tommy has his too, of course. Former unpaid and underrated guest and multiple contest winner, Big David. Which Big David is this from, actually? Okay.
Mine says, from all of us at Big David Inc. Big Tommy. When Big Davids win big, we give back to the crew. Encloses a can for a What's in the Can segment. Big Tanner has the same. Hopefully this revives this beloved segment. Happy guessing. Yours in strength and in the name of Brian, our savior, one of the Big Davids.
Which David is this then? Actually, can you confirm? What's British? Someone in the Discord. What's British David's last name?
It's David Mills.
That's who yours is from?
Yeah.
Mine's from David Hunter.
No.
Well, on the back of this it says artist David Hunter, but maybe they were in.
Okay, yeah, I guess they could have orchestrated this together, I suppose. Because that would be very weird if somehow they just magically sent us. Yeah, I think this is part of the game here.
Okay, because mine does say David Hunter on the back of it.
Yeah, mine does definitely not say that. In fact, it actually says David's wife's name on it. Is the funny part about who sent it.
Okay. All right. So should we try it?
Yeah. Is your can little?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have just a little can on my own.
You know what they say about small cans? Small koozies.
All right. I'm picking up a fruity scent right off the bat.
Really, relatively crispy crack. Like it didn't. The crack didn't blow me away.
Did you have yours cooling or was it warming?
I cooled it a little bit.
Mine's been sitting in the basement this whole time.
Very fruity smelling, right?
very fruity tasting. Man, I'm really struggling to get that flavor. The flavor's strong, and I'm just really struggling in my brain to identify what that is. What is that?
I'm almost feeling like a little bubble gummy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Do you notice that at all?
Yes, I think you're right. In my mind, I'm thinking of a pink fruit, and I couldn't arrive at what that would be. But
I'm not sold on bubble gum, but that's just kind of that's my first little.
No, that I could totally see that.
It's such a dainty little can.
It is.
I might have to open it.
I don't think it would be like cotton candy, would it? That's got to be. I'd pick bubble gum over cotton candy.
Okay, that's what I'm going.
Should we take a look?
Yeah. Sometimes the unwrapping is the hardest part.
So we do have a Polar. But what kind is it?
Unicorn Kisses. The hell does that mean? Unicorn Kisses. He scribbled over something in the. I've got tape on the top with scribble on it.
I don't see anything that offers up any type of description other than it is a sparkling
up on the
water.
very top. What does
A curious
this say?
dream of fanciful fruit, it says.
Oh, okay.
But I would take bubblegum and cotton candy all day over fanciful fruit.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to just go ahead and say we were right.
Yep, this one was on us. We got that.
What do you give it?
I mean,
Very
in this small can, I think is the perfect size for this flavor.
I'm going to go with a 3.0.
I think so. That's it's fairly intense, but it's not one that I would repeatedly go back to. So yeah, I'd probably give it a 3.
Interesting.
I do appreciate the novelty of it though. Polar Seltzer Junior, even.
Yeah, I think they both won. Of course, the Davids were in on it together. The California Davids. Okay, what do we want to talk about next this week?
Oh man, we got lots going on. Lots happened.
We do actually have a bunch of stuff in our list here. You wrote a bunch of one-word topics that I don't even know what the hell they all are.
Okay, well, those most of them are pretty fast, so we can get through those first. Okay, first one, we're going to play a little game here, Tanner. You need to pick up your phone.
Oh. Hello?
I'm calling you. Here. Go to Instagram.
The gram.
The gram. Go to the Massenomics feed. I'm getting there too. Okay, you're on your timeline.
Yep.
So we're going to go down, down, down until you get to the Kaiser Strength video. Which way? Oh, that's down a fair amount by the world's strongest puncher.
Jonah Leo at the Crew Falls meetup event, right?
Do you have that post selected?
I found it. Yep.
Okay, now go to the likes on that post.
It's liked by 5,538 people.
Yep, and then go through your common likes that you follow, and in there you will see This was all a segment for me to. I just wanted to reinforce that I have liked that post.
Dr. Mike, several crew members in here. Dan Bell. Oh, there he is.
There it is.
There it is. Sam Sulik liked that.
Sam Sulik liked that post.
Our 1 degree of separation from Big Sam.
Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah. That post went pretty well, too.
Yeah, 5,500 likes, 188,000 plays. Those are solid numbers.
Yeah, Sam Sulik would probably like to chase the pump on some Kaiser.
I bet he could chase a freaky pump on that thing.
Yeah. Speaking of Sam Sulik, watch, what is his YouTube subscribers? We haven't talked about it for months. He's at 2.96 million, so he'll be at 3 million any day.
That is just crazy. But it is cool to see that he liked a post. The only reason I even found out about that he liked that post, and I was trying to explain this to you the other day, and I couldn't find it, so I didn't know where it was. But I was on the Instagram Discover page, and a Massenomics post was at that post is at the top. I'm like, Massenomics posts I never see Massenomics posts on my Discover page. And so I clicked on it, and the very first thing I see is liked by Sam Sulik, and I'm thinking, no way, he doesn't like this. This must be like a different account that has his name. And I clicked, and sure enough, it was his account. He liked it. So that is kind of crazy.
I assume he liked it because he wants to get on the podcast as a guest sometimes.
Yeah, he's just afraid to ask, probably.
How can I communicate this most appropriately? So I'm like, I'm going to like this video.
Right, I got to be just kind of...
From last month.
Yeah, I got to be cool about it. I don't want to be too...
Yeah, he's trying to slow play it, isn't it? He's like...
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
Yep, so that's the Kaiser one. I do have...
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I have a piece of follow-up that long-time listeners might appreciate. This goes way back to a little something, Tanner. Put on your thinking hat here. Yep. Way back to the original podcast studio. What
do you mean by original podcast studio?
Mr. Effingstein's.
Okay.
We talked about...
do you mean in his basement?
In his basement.
Or do you mean upstairs?
In the basement.
Okay.
We talked about a little something called the TB12 method. Do you remember that?
I do. I do remember the TB12.
For those that are not familiar with it, the TB12 method was Tom Brady's, training protocol.
As covered Massenomics podcast circa like 2016, 2017. Yes.
Yes, it was his.
We did a whole episode titled like the TB12
because there were so many things in it that were just comical. Actually, that'd be a good one for Dr. Mike to cover if he hasn't already. That'd be a really good one.
That would be a good one. I could see that.
It was Tom Brady's apparel, fitness brand, equipment. Like equipment was like foam rollers that vibrated and, whatever, bands or 5 pound, whatever he had. It was all just kind of garbage stuff, but
happy horse shit.
Yeah. He also had some, I think there might've been some type of training protocol with that too, but why TB12 is relevant again is because TB12 is merging with what company, Tanner? What company? The $1 million question.
Is it another fitness?
It is another fitness company.
Bowflex.
No.
Jazzercise.
Nope.
Prancer
Closer
size.
to our industry.
Tybo. Oh, closer to us. Several people are guessing Pillar 4.
Not Pillar 4. Not a terrible guess.
Not Bar Bend, not Pillar 4. Boy, I don't know. Is it?
They are merging with No Bull.
No Bull. Is that like the shoes?
Yeah, the shoes. So TB12 and No Bull.
Obviously, those two companies are merging together.
Because, of course, right? So yes. I don't really know what that means other than the fact that he's their official statement seems to read that Brady's and the Noble owner, their vision is to become a complete wellness company, helping to provide the tools for those striving to become better every day. Very generic. If we were going to release a press release to talk about this stuff, we'd at least have some really memorable quotes in it. But he is now their number 2 shareholder, so we'll keep a watch on the TB12 method as it evolves.
Tom Brady wins again, doesn't he?
Just playing the long game.
We'll have to do our Super Bowl predictions next week.
Yes, we will.
Do we want to wait for next week?
Yeah, I'm going to need a full week to think about this one.
Yeah,
got a lot of analytics to keep up on.
I'd say the 2 teams made it that I was rooting against.
Yeah,
in the
100%. Totally.
Yeah.
Really
I was really hoping for the Lions, and I watched that first half, and I'm like, oh, there's no way they can not win this. Mm-hmm. And then I go downstairs, I'm working on Massenomics stuff. I come upstairs, I'm like, it's tied? What is going on?
I know.
Why is it tied?
I felt exactly the same way.
I felt like they really got my hopes up on that one too.
I was totally
not that I have any stake in the Lions.
No, and I really didn't care. I've had much more heartbreaking losses as a distant fan of things, but I was really hoping for a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we didn't get that, did we?
Nope. There's always next year, though, right?
Yeah, not really. It just seems to be the same shit over and over again.
Or there's always like 30 years again in the case of the Lions.
There's always never. Never be
a Super Bowl. Once in every 3-decade occurrence.
Yes. And then the Chiefs will just go like every 2 out of 3 every year.
That needs to stop. Someone needs to put an end to that, please.
Okay. You were just in Aberdeen here, Tommy, too.
I was.
Western Northeast South Dakota in layman's terms.
We were I came up for some other client work, but Massenomics is also a very important piece of that. So
Client numero uno.
I did client stuff on one day, and then we dedicated a whole nother day to just Massenomics. And boy, did we do Massenomics. That was, I'm not sure how much we want to give away, but we made more videos in one day than we ever had ever.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun.
Except maybe in the Arnold, like 20.
Well, yeah, that doesn't really count. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Keith wondered if you made new menus at Pounders.
Actually, yeah.
I was gonna say, I think
I did
you've
make
made there's been new menus at Mavericks at least.
I did new menus at Mavericks and new menus at
whenever
Pounders. Those both
any
launched.
of the restaurants that I go to get new menus, I assume Tom.
Yeah,
did it.
actually, both of those restaurants have new menus that launched in the past month from me. Yes, you are. Yes, Keith, that is correct.
So that'll be something for everyone to look forward to this summer. That's coming to the Lift.
Take your picture with those menus.
Check out Tommy's new menus. We did shoot a lot of videos, a lot of fun stuff in the gym. We even did a training vlog together that's probably coming out in the relatively near future here.
Within
so
the next month, there'll be one out.
Yeah,
and I don't know. We were saying we filmed a lot. I don't know if that video will be 15 minutes long or 25 minutes long.
That could be a longie. I think people will like it. But we trained. Well, so we got to train together too, which was
and we
fun.
were the only ones in there. So we didn't. It's funny. We talked about it right away, and then we never brought it up again. We went the entire session with no music. We just lifted and chatted about it.
And we were just going back. Just like one set after another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kept the pace up pretty good.
Just guys being dudes in the gym is what I would call it.
100%. It was sort of like a podcast while lifting in a way.
It was kind of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. We got to, of course, do supporting members. But do we do anything else?
Do we need to fill in a couple minutes? I can tell you about something else.
I clicked on. I clicked on your thing that I think
that's
you're
fine. I got
it.
So
it zipped in front of me like right as
I know. I was moving it. I was moving it there up to the top of the list. Okay, you ready for this one, Tanner? You buckled in.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. This is also a callback to a long time ago. There was a certain time when Massenomics was snubbed from a certain list in a local magazine.
Are we talking Aberdeen Magazine?
Yeah.
Yes, Aberdeen Magazine. Yeah. Okay.
They snubbed.
Love it.
Snubbed.
All right, you have my interest.
They snubbed Massenomics from the local podcast list. There was just too many to fit us on the list.
Anyone that's been listening for a while knows what we're talking about
there was
here.
Too many podcasts that had now gone defunct to include us.
Did we look? Was any podcast that was on that list still existing?
I think just the one, though. Our actual friends over at the Shrink Wrap podcast, I believe.
Were they even in the article?
I think they were.
I couldn't remember. They were in the article because they do have like the one other worthwhile mentioning podcast.
Oh, they're the only other one that exists to this day. Right. So while not as bad as that one, there was a slight snub again. Are you aware of this?
No. What was it? Was it Aberdeen Magazine?
It was Aberdeen Magazine. They did have an article on businesses to get you fit and feeling good into the new year. And
really,
Massenomics didn't make the list.
What was on the list? That's what I'd like to know.
Our friends at Erosion Fitness did make the list.
Okay,
so
that's a good. That's
okay.
Fair.
We'll allow that one.
Yeah.
I think
that's a good one.
I think they had an audiologist on the list, which was. I kind of get it.
You mean like a hearing aid?
Yeah, a hearing aid, which to me, like that's kind of not in the spirit of what that usually is.
What was the title of the thing again?
I think
get you fit.
I think it was more actually like feeling good and wellness into 2024.
Okay,
which to me is still
seems like
kind
an
of like you don't do medical services as like businesses you need to visit in 2024. To me, that's the wrong angle on that. There was that. There was one of those. I don't know. I think like natural healing. Kind of, I don't even know what that is. And I think there was one or two other ones, but unfortunately, Massenomics didn't make the list. So,
Big Jake, he said it best here. I can't believe Aberdeen Magazine isn't highlighting a hidden gem.
I know, right?
Like, what's the deal?
Come
This
on.
gym that we don't advertise and don't put signage up for and don't really want people to come to.
I know. This is going to be offensive, damn it.
Yeah. To be fair, we don't really do
no,
anything
we
for
don't
almost
need
any
to be
rest-
fair here.
Yeah.
This was a
The
snub.
podcast one, I would say, was a pretty egregious.
That was a
snub.
pretty clear-cut case.
Yeah, that was a open and shut. We called them to the carpet on that one, and deservedly so.
Yes. And then
This
they
one-
not only did we call them to the carpet, a lot of people have called them to the carpet on that one.
They were called to the carpet and then beat over the head with it relentlessly.
Yeah.
Where this one, yeah, I mean, I guess.
We'll give them a light pass on this one.
Yes.
But they are skating on thin ice though.
Yeah,
One
that's
more
kind of their
time.
thing. They're on pretty thin ice to
They
begin
are.
with. So
One more
they
time,
did
and there's
try
gonna
to
be-
make up for it a little bit by their sister newspaper doing an article on scants for the Lift Hard Live Easy
Still
Classic.
Massenomics adjacent though. Still not really Massenomics.
It was really more of a scants article
was.
than it was.
It was. Just shows
Scants
that
is
they'd
typing
rather,
now,
they'd
so-
rather feature a man from Canada than someone in their own backyard.
I'm excited for the follow-up scants article in 2024.
Yeah.
Like
The
I hope
sequel.
it becomes an annual segment of the like. All right, we have to check back it, or if it could be like a semi monthly.
Or
like catchy-
maybe he just becomes he starts that relationship and just becomes the Canadian reporter. So he just has like a column every month where he just talks about things going on in Canada.
Yes. Yeah, it's like their man in the field. Oh, it's just Canada news. Okay, speaking of supporting members like Scants, this is our supporting member segment. And important announcement before I even get into that. The line in the sand is not yet drawn. We haven't got the stick out and like scraped the line into the sand yet, but we've got the stick out.
We have identified
just
where the
haven't
line is
scraped it.
going.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this the week it's coming out, you're okay. You could still get signed up to become a supporting member. And the line in the sand that we're alluding to is we've got the special mailing going out to all supporting members. And if you sign up now, you can still get in on that.
The
If
details
you wait a week, I don't know.
The details have been ironed out. We got the iron and we took it to the details. They have all been ironed out.
Ironed them.
We got it figured out. We actually know exactly what's happening. Money has been exchanged with vendors.
Yeah.
Things are in motion and they are looking good.
Yeah, things have been set into motion that can't be undone, to quote Lord of the Rings, kind of. To paraphrase Lord of the Rings. I think that was Dumbledore from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, that's how I remember it.
So this is a very special mailing. We really haven't given away any details on it, and I think we want to keep it that way because this is going to be a genuinely fun surprise when it starts to hit everyone's doorstep. So we are super excited about it. You can still get in on it by signing up now. Any of our levels supporting membership will get you in on this mailing, along with getting you access to our online Discord community. That's the only way to get in our Discord. And trust me, you want to be on our Discord.
It's sort of the place to be. You get to listen to us
Yeah.
live like all these people
Yeah.
are right now.
And there's a discount code in there for the supporting members, and sometimes you get early access to drops, and you get to listen along live. You get that option like we've got some people doing here tonight, and it's kind of fun. We check their chats as we're listening, and if they post a church lady meme, we might talk about their church lady meme. Dana
that
Carvey
nice?
SNL. So come on, be a supporting member. And the ones I want to shout out this week is the big president of North Dakota. Hit a new PR. He had a new family PR with the birth of the son. So president in North Dakota.
Congrats.
I wonder if the family's coming up here this summer. Maybe we'll get to meet the new family members. So we'll see about that.
Yeah.
President of North Dakota, congratulations.
Congrats.
Big Matt Cesny, speaking of the crew Wolfpack, he competed in his first multiply meet where he hit a 675 squat, 455 bench, and a 550 deadlift.
Nice.
Well done, Big Matt. And speaking of more crew that so far we're all this is all crew that was here for Lift Hard Live Easy Classic last year and I believe is coming back next year for 2024. We got Big Jacked and Ginger. He did a meet and he went 6 of 9. Nice.
That was on purpose.
Yes. 518 squat, which was a state record, a 342 bench, and a 540 deadlift for a 1,400 total.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of more people that were at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic, Big Tom Swartz, one of the Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety. He competed at USAPL K-State Championship hosted by JP Price. He competed in the 82.5 kilogram class. He put up a 540 squat, 375 bench, and a 590 deadlift.
Nice.
For that sweet 1,500 pound total.
That is solid.
Big one of the Toms. And then last, of course, not least, also was at last year's Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. Big Lou Nutter was on Unpaid and Underrated. Nutter? Hardly newer. So go check out Unpaid and Underrated. Big Lou was their guest this week. They got a new guest every week where they interview one of our crew members. Another great reason to become a supporting member is you can get...
you can become a podcast guest.
Yeah, you can be a podcast guest on our Bridey Little Sister podcast.
Our guest has arrived, Tanner.
Oh, great. Speaking of supporting members...
Do you
old son of a bitch on
Do you
there.
want to read an ad while I start kicking
Yeah,
people
I'll
out?
read an ad. I'll read an ad here, actually, while you do that. I want to... Actually, I'm going to play a little ad while you do that. If I know what button to push, and I think I do.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron, only available from the Strength Company.
The Strength Go plates made by one of our favorite military vets out there, Grant Brogy. And now we're going to soon get to hear from another one of our favorites, I think, aren't we?
We're ready to go?
Let's do it. Welcome. You are live on the Massenomics podcast.
This is the peak moment. The peak moment of at least the last 60 days, if not longer.
Dreams do come true.
Yeah,
They do. Yeah, finally. Yeah, I've been dreaming about this for a long time now.
We are excited to get you on. We've been talking. We got several things to talk to you about. So for anyone that doesn't know, I don't know. So do you put your full name out on stuff or not? Like, do you use your first and last name? I mean, I see KurtLocker on mostly everything. So we have inside information, but I don't know if you use your full name on anything.
Yeah. I'm nothing special. My name's out there. It's in the ether. Send it. Full send. Good luck saying it. See if you crush the first try.
I'll just say it's it's Kurtis. We'll go by Kurt today though, because that's what I think of you as. I don't know what you prefer, and then I'll say Stadsvold. Okay, Stadsvold.
Yep. So Stadsvold, pretty basic stuff. Means so I don't know if this is true or not, but my dad once told me that it means a state of violence or like a state of war, which I was like, that's really dope. I don't know if that's true. But
we'll
I also
stick with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to look it up and have it ruined for me.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to look into that. You just got to go with what you know on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so we're excited to talk to you about one thing. You pump out a lot of YouTube videos. You actually have been for several years now. You've got a whole bunch, and where you have a pretty sweet home gym set up that you've grown over those years. So you talk about a lot of that on YouTube. Also, you compete in Strongman, so you talk about a lot of Strongman stuff on there. You're also a big Air Force guy, so we got a couple things to talk to about that, as a matter of fact. And also Home Gym Con coming up, where you're running a Strongman event. And like I said, the YouTube thing, and then we'll hit on a couple silly goose topics. And Big Kurt's actually a supporting member, so you're kind of familiar with some of this stuff anyways.
Yeah, to a mild degree. Monday mornings when I'm out here in the gym by myself, that's my Massenomics catch up for the week.
Yeah, so that's a popular topic that's discussed about some of our listeners. So do you listen to podcasts while you lift?
So if it's like a PB or a PR, probably not.
Then yes, definitely you put on the
then
Massenomics
that's
podcast.
when it's coming out.
But most of the time, yeah, we're directly below in my home gym. We're directly below my daughter's room, and I train in the mornings before people wake up. Not too far before they wake up, but still, when you have a 5-year-old, you want them to stay asleep for as long as they are willing to stay asleep. And so it started with me just listening to headphones, but I hated listening to headphones in the gym. I just don't like it. And so then it was like quiet music, but quiet music's really lame. And so I was like, well, let's just do podcasts. So
that makes sense. And plus, with our podcast, you do have Kaz to get you pumped up first thing in the morning.
You do actually. Yeah. And Kaz is a whole interesting little bag of tricks there too. Like, oh God, have you guys ever heard like the old stories like of Kaz, like when he was doing drugs and stuff?
Well,
like not like drugs, but like,
right.
I'm not sure I've heard those ones before.
Oh, man. So I don't know any of them firsthand, so I'm not going to ruin them, but they're out there. So
we'll have to do a little digging.
I would just ruin it. But there's some pretty good ones out there that I've heard from other people in the strongman community that know them.
I 100% believe it because a lot of our experiences with them are pretty out there, and I tend to believe he was not on any drugs when we had these conversations. So like, I can only assume. Yeah.
I think his nephew, he told me at the Arnold in 2018. And again, I don't know if this is true or not, but he's like, it was like a nephew or some sort of family member was like, oh, just joined the Air Force. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, unique. I've never actually thought to look him up. So maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow at work.
Okay. Another popular topic before we dive in too much on some of the stuff. You're an Ohio man.
Yeah.
And you might know the question that's coming next, but in your expert opinion, is Ohio in the Midwest?
Ohio, I don't think Ohio is unified in that decision, which sounds like I'm riding the line, which I understand. But in the state of Ohio, everybody seems to think that they're from the South, which is really funny when you think about it, because it's like you do understand that the Ohio River was like a point of demarcation during that point in time. So I don't know. Geographically, it's just kind of in the middle, right? Yeah. Like almost in the middle. I don't think it's really Midwest because it doesn't have that Midwest vibe. I'm from Minnesota originally.
Oh, you are?
In Minnesota, it's definitely the Midwest. Right. Like people are nice for the most part. They say nice to you. They, say nice things. They wave. It's, just kind of a friendly thing. And not to say that people in Ohio are rude. Not to say that I don't like it here, but I don't think it's the Midwest. I think this is just a region with no identity.
So where at in Minnesota were you from then?
I'm from a little town just north of Rochester, Minnesota called Oronoco.
Okay.
That's one area of Minnesota we never get to.
Yeah, that gets to a ways away from us then too.
So, do you know where Fergus Falls is in Minnesota?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I spent a ton of time there. So my great grandpa lived in Fergus Falls. That's like where the Stadsvolds originated in the United States. And our family lake cabin that my great-great-grandpa built with like his hands. And I'm talking like they eventually ran power to it. It didn't have plumbing for like the longest time growing up. Like there was no shower.
Well, there's a lake there. You don't need plumbing.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so they actually changed the rules then later. They made it to where like you couldn't bathe in the lake. So like we had to put a shower in because we kept on getting in trouble for being, I guess, heathens and bathing in the lake.
But that was near Fergus Falls too, though?
Yeah, right outside of Fergus Falls. So right on Blanche Lake.
Okay.
So if you know where Battle Lake is, basically right next to that. So there was a part of Blanche that we would go and we would canoe and we'd go fishing over there. And we could pick the canoe up and go overland maybe like 3-4 rods and you're in Battle Lake.
Gotcha. Yeah, I went to college in Alexandria, Minnesota, which is just down the interstate from there. So know the area, know that area up there a little bit. I was south just a little bit though.
Yep. It's a good area.
Oh,
really
it's amazing.
is.
Yeah, beautiful.
Another thing you pointed out there that I think it's a hot button issue that we have to clarify is you said your gym is below where your daughter's sleeping, but if I'm thinking of it correctly, your gym is a garage gym, right? So am I right on that? It's not a basement gym. So the layout of your house must be such that there's a second story above your garage.
That's right.
Which is an interest,
That's kind of almost riding the line between a basement gym and a garage gym.
Right. So it's still a garage gym, you would call that though, right? Like that's definitively still a garage gym, but it's kind of
But there are living quarters above the gym.
Right. Right.
So if we are looking up, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So where this is here, this is the roof.
Yeah.
All of that is just roof. So it's like garage just kind of subsets in a little bit. And so that side of it is just on the outside. And then this side of it is, I guess, below the house, maybe 4 feet, 8 feet.
Okay.
But it does bring up an interesting point because it isn't like, I guess, truly like a garage in the sense that it's
not it's not isolated from
I wish it was. I really wish it was.
Right. Okay. But if you had your complete ideal setup, would you be you'd be a standalone building garage like this, not connected? Then that would be your
So my coach when I was stationed down in Texas, Mike Battolino with Chrono Strength, if I had his setup, so essentially what he had was it was like a standard, probably like 24-foot wide garage, and it was probably 40 feet deep, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. Super high ceilings as well. You couldn't quite throw in there. Like you couldn't do sandbag tosses, that kind of stuff. But it was tall enough that we were hanging like banners from the ceiling vertically, and you could still train in there with no problem. But yeah, ceiling height is a big reason that I wanted a basement gym when I moved here. But when we were talking with the builder, I was like, hey, can I get 10-foot ceilings in the basement? And it was like $40,000 extra. And I was like, what? Like,
buy a lot of gym equipment with that amount of money.
Yeah. Mike Battolino, am I right or wrong? Did he used to podcast with Cale Beck on?
He did, He's on Starting Strongman.
Yeah, he has had some Massenomics stuff over the years. He's bought in some flags and shirts and stuff. I
helped hang those banners.
Okay. So who knew about Massenomics first, you or him?
So I met you guys briefly, like in passing, I think at the 18 or 19 Arnold. It was just like really brief because I was working like a recruiter booth. I wasn't a recruiter, but they would bring us up there.
Were you in uniform?
Yeah.
Did you come to our booth or were we walking around?
Man, I don't remember. There's really if you go back and look though in 2000. Well, anyway, so I don't know who met each other. I don't know who knew each other first. Right. But they were definitely more aware first. And so like Ricky Infante and those guys, they all had like the banners and all that stuff way beforehand. So they probably knew first. But really funny going back, like way back in the Arnold days in 2018, the first year I did it, there's a really funny video. So like Arnold came to the booth, and I got to be careful what I say here because I don't want to get in trouble. But we had a female who was like, look at me, like military female chick.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure she was special, whatever. She was gosh, I don't remember. She was like a seer specialist or something, some stupid crap. And she like gets into her combat shirt. It's all nice and tight and pulled on her tits and stuff. And just like shoves in front of everybody. And so like talking with Arnold. So like me and my buddy are standing there and we're like in uniform. The best part is like someone's filming all this. And so you see this like pissed off look at my face, and I like look at my buddy and he looks at me and we're like,
yeah.
But it's like out there, so you can find it. It's out there.
Okay. So you got pretty up close and personal with Arnold though there.
No, she did.
Okay.
Arnold doesn't want to look at this. All right.
Something I wanted to ask you about. So you're in the Air Force. What is the current Air Force physical fitness test? I don't actually know.
So it's, oh gosh, It's a mess. All right. It's really easy. It's always been really easy, but it got easier. So you have to do like a cardio event, which is either a 1.5 mile run, something called the hammer run. I think there's a couple other, it's like a la carte. You get to choose your own adventure PT test. And then you have push-ups and sit-ups. But I think even then, I think you can like choose to do like hand release push-ups or something like that. But it's that. So right now we have to take it kind of in the EOD community. We're supposed to have our own physical fitness test that's supposed to like test certain, occupational sequences. So like there's a trap bar deadlift in the new EOD test, as well as 1,000-meter row. We have to throw a medicine ball, which is actually a ton of fun. And another one
distance.
Yeah, for distance. It's like 3 throws and do it for distance.
Yeah.
But right now it's like in this weird limbo state. So I just take the Air Force test. I don't practice for it, and I get like a excellent score every single time. I meet people that fail, and I'm like really? Really?
It seems odd the way you're like how not set in stone it is, like the way you're describing it. Like the old Army PT test was
2 miles.
Yes. It's 2 miles, push-ups, sit-ups.
Yep.
That's the test.
And you guys got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
2
We only
minutes
got 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would do them faster, but you guys had to do more full range because you guys had to put your hands behind your head.
Yeah. What was yours like?
Ours was like
a crunch. Okay. Okay.
But our push-ups were more difficult because in that 1 minute, back when I was younger, so I'm in the old man test now. So like, because I'm 36, I get to take like I think this is a 35 and up category.
Submasters, yeah.
Yeah, submasters. And but back when I was young, it was like 70. I'm going to get the number wrong here. So whoever looks me up, that's fine. 72 in a minute or some crap like that. And the push-ups were like full range of motion push-ups. So, I mean, if you think about that, 72 in a minute,
that's
cooking pretty good.
That's a lot of push-ups. Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah.
Are you close to having your 20 years in then? Is that the rule?
So I will hit the DOD does skill bridge. So you can do like up to 6 months where you intern. I will retire in October of 2025. I'll hit skill bridge April of 2025. So I have just over 1 year left doing my normal job. And as long as my skill bridge gets approved, I'll be done in April, basically.
So you'll be able to retire when you're 37, 38.
38, yeah.
38. What will you do then?
Oh, man, that's a good question. So when you were a junior in high school and everybody was like getting their crap together,
yeah.
That's where I'm kind of at. So the Air Force pays for, so obviously the Department of Defense pays for like educational benefits. It's how they get people to sign up. I went years and years and years without ever getting any degrees. And in the last 10 years, I'm working on my 5th degree now.
Some of those,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's online college. Like also like people that fail online school, like, come on, son. ChatGPT exists now too. Like you have so my bachelor's that I was like trying to be responsible, like I'm going to get a job with this bachelor's degree is in security management, which is like physical protection system. So I would be the nerd that sits over at like X factory or like nuclear power plant, and I would be designing the physical protection systems. I've got a couple cybersecurity certificates as well if I wanted to. Crime prevention through environmental design. So like working with construction companies to design safer parking lots. It's just all stuff. And when I started my master's program, I actually started an MBA because I was like, oh, well, I'll get my MBA because business. And I got like 2 days into the first class. And I was just like, I fucking hate this so much. And so I was still within that window where I could withdraw. So I withdrew. The Air Force made me get re-educated, which is really funny to get my benefits turned back on. I had to get re-educated and like I had to do all these personality tests. And then I had like to choose a new degree that I wanted to do. And I started my master's in exercise science, so in strength and conditioning. which is actually really dope. I really enjoy it a lot. So I don't know. I could go like the Bengals are just down the road from where I'm at. I'm not necessarily a Bengals fan, but if they're hiring,
yeah,
I'll apply.
You could become a Bengals fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I could easily. I'm a Vikings fan, so I'm easily switched. Right.
Yeah,
like it doesn't take.
There's not much to hang on to there. It's just.
Not really. I mean, ever since Brett Favre left.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting change. It's funny, for some people, the thought of retiring from your first career when you're 38.
That's wild to me.
The benefits are pretty cool as well. So I've survived 4 med boards. I'm about 2 inches shorter than I was when I joined. I just had another MRI done on my back, and it looks a little bit more Salvador Dali than it did before. So like my disability rating, I have 3 separate 40% ratings.
Yep.
I'm pretty broke. I mean, when you do 20 years in the service in a combat support related career field, you're going to get beat up. So we'll see what happens. But I might be collecting retirement plus if I do 100% disability with my current dependent load, we're talking like $4,200 extra a month. So
yeah.
I mean, I could just do
YouTube
home gym.
Yeah, I mean, not even do that. So my wife's a blogger. My wife is a blogger, and so we could just support her and get her going on her thing. And we're actually looking at doing a blog together now because our daughter recently got diagnosed with celiac disease, and I get really frustrated because like I like meat, I like cheese. And if you go out there and you look up gluten-free recipes, it's like gluten-free, dairy-free, meat-free, like enjoyment-free. It's the worst. It's the worst crap ever. And so I'm pretty good at cooking, so I just kind of cook stuff. So I've just been writing stuff down lately, and we'll see what happens. I mean, if I got this awesome of a gym, imagine how cool the kitchen I could get if I just start making recipes.
Yeah. So where did the the YouTube, obviously, you're building a gym. Where did the YouTube idea come from? Like, when was the moment when you're like, I've got this stuff, I'm doing this thing. Why don't I try to like do something with it as far as content? Like, why did you what was the inspiration for that part of it? So, nobody was doing reviews on equipment that I wanted to see. At the time, I think I started in 17, I think 2017. And the first video is pretty awful. I think my first video is actually like an Atlas Stone loading platform that I like constructed in bare feet, not using any safety equipment at all, which for the record, that's still the par. I just don't show it on video because I got a lot of hate for that. But I just got frustrated with what was there. So like it was just Coop basically, and like no offense to Coop. I mean, at the time it was actually really good content, but it was like these are like the Bowflex adjustable dumbbells, and I was like, yeah, I don't care. And then it was like he went from that to like, here's the Alico open trap bar, and it's like, yeah, that's like $1,300. And at the time, it just wasn't accessible. And so it was 2 reasons. One, it was like I wasn't getting these stuff I wanted to see, so I was like, well, I'll just start doing the stuff I want to see, and we'll see what happens. And then I was like, Coop seems to be getting all of this really cool stuff. So like maybe if I make videos, I will also get cool stuff. Which I think this year is like the first year that maybe that's the reality. Other than that, this is all just purchased. Yeah. But you have, I guess the way, like when Tommy and I talked about it, I think your YouTube channel is probably even a little underrated with what you've been doing with it lately. I
mean, the first thing that sticks out is when you actually look at the sheer number of videos you have. 397 videos is the official number here. That doesn't happen accidentally. You don't accidentally get anywhere near that unless you're trying very hard.
So trying very hard inconsistently. I did a really good job of not following the algorithm, kind of going at my own pace. Sometimes I get really hard on myself. So Adam at Garage Gym Lab, he's the one that usually has to come and get me out of my depression hole. And he's the one that tells me like, dude, just do you. But I'm not trying to do this as a living, which is part of the advantage of it. So like Gluck is a really good example of this. So like Gluck, I remember when he passed me in like subscriber count, and he posted this meme from the movie Cars, and it was like Gluck's pulling ahead or something like that. And it was funny. It was good. But Gluck did a really good job of like, he understood what it was. He was very like intentional with what he did. So he's like, I want to grow. I want to do this because I guess being a teacher sucks.
That's what they say.
Yeah. So yeah, I've just not been consistent. I mean, I also have a job that makes me travel.
Right.
It's really difficult. And you guys are really organized. I've actually like kind of been watching your YouTube, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're still hitting this every week. It's not like you guys are doing a good job. Yeah. But yeah, I just suck at algorithm. I'm only recently, like, I took like a 6-month hiatus from YouTube altogether, just because between school, I was going through some medical stuff that recently just got finally taken care of, which I feel great now. So I took like a 6-month break. I came back. I was doing 2 videos a week for 2 months, I think. And then I slowed down to 1 because I was kind of hitting that. My idea here is I was like, well, I'll just throw a shit ton of fuel on the fire as we come back into this and try to restart it. And it worked pretty good. The dollar amount per month, ad revenue pays in the tens of dollars. And so the ad revenues, it kind of went up during Christmas, and now it's back down to what it was basically before. But the subscriber in the last 28 days is like 3 times what it was before, which is good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Would you say you mostly just do it because you enjoy it then? Like you're saying like, you're not trying to make this your job, you're not as worried about the algorithm maybe as like just doing what you want to do. So would you say the reason for doing it, you talked about, I guess, getting equipment out of it. But at this point you've got, you're not in need of like, you can just look behind you there. You're not in need of like someone to send you a barbell or something like that. It's still fun. Like
that is your opinion.
Right. It's funny for me to even say it, but like, yes, I love the stuff too, but like, you've got a lot of cool stuff. So it's like, would you say you just do it because you enjoy it then?
Yeah, I do it because I enjoy it. And I think another thing that makes it more difficult for my channel to grow as much is I'm way more focused on, I focus on the niche. So originally it was like 100% American made all the time, veteran owned companies. And now it's a little bit more of like the high quality equipment, but I'm not really, I feel like I'm kind of fibbing right now too though. So like RitFit, which is this really affordable, that was the right word. Yep. Really affordable equipment manufacturer. They're just a reseller. It's like a Chinese import. So they like sent me a free gym. They don't watch this, so I'll just say it. So they like DM'd me and they were like, oh, we want to send you this gym. And like my buddy who lives next to me, he's about to have a kid. And I was like, hey dude, you want a gym? And he's like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And I was like, do you want this gym? And he's like, yeah, that'd be cool. And I was like, sounds good. And I was like, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he got a free gym out of it. Now they're offering me a leg press. So I'll wait like a day. And if they like message me, I know they watch your podcast.
So are they expecting something specific in return from you, or is it just
the video?
Is this a weird time to tell you that this episode was sponsored by RitFit? Is that the?
I actually haven't heard of RitFit.
I haven't either. That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like entry level. Like if you were like, maybe I'd like a garage gym, but I don't want to spend $20,000 to find out.
You might be RitFit then.
Yeah, you might be RitFit. But I really like the very niche equipment. So like I'm looking at a Stone and Steel. Not all of it is Strongman related, but a lot of it is. So like the Havoc triads are a really good example of that. Like I love the triads. I love the Q-bells. I think they're great. I also can't afford them, which is why I only have a set of 50s back there. But I think they're a great design. But like most people, when they're flipping through their YouTube feed for the day and they see, Havoc triads, but then they see that someone else is doing a video on like the Rep Aries or the whatever, the Bells of Steel this or the Rogue Fitness that, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to go watch that because it's way more mainstream. But if you want to watch like, some weird guy talking about triangular shaped hand weights or a guy who wants to stick like a cable column off the side of his thing, then I guess I'm your guy. But just a smaller market.
Yeah. So you brought up something there. Being as a Minnesota guy, you'll probably be able to wrap your head around this pretty well. We like to do the Mount Rushmore game. So the big Kurt version is we want you being there again, Minnesota, you've probably seen there's 4 presidents on Mount Rushmore. So we need your Mount Rushmore of home gym strongman equipment. So for a strongman with a home gym, what's your Mount Rushmore pieces, 4 pieces?
Oh man. So obviously Mike Bartos, if there could be one that's like overly energetically positive, that'd be Mike.
No. What, I'm thinking like actual pieces of equipment.
Oh, gotcha. Well, that's easier. Yeah. So we're doing 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to do.
But no, I liked where you were headed on that though already. Past podcast guest, big Mike. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mike's here. Oh man. Have you ever talked to Mike in person?
No, we haven't. I don't think we've ever met him. No.
It's the best. It's the freaking best. Like, I wish that Mike was my neighbor. So I go up there when I pick up equipment because he's just a couple hours drive.
Okay.
It's better than getting it shipped. And every time I've gone up there, Mike is like, hey, like, I'll meet you here at like the power center back when it was a thing, or like I'll meet you at the powder coater or whatever. He's like, but I got to run real quick because I got a thing. And it's like 2 hours after I got there and we're still talking in the parking lot. But Mike's a great conversation. Yeah, absolutely great. But yeah, so let's go with the equipment real quick. It's going to be the old short kegs that are hard to find. I'm talking like the 7.5 gallon short kegs that you can't find anymore. Those old, were they called pony kegs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like the ones at World's Strongest Man that they would throw.
I have one. I was helping move a piano and I saw it in this guy's backyard and I was like, hey, I'll give you money for that. He's like, oh, you can take those? And I was like, yes, I can take those. And he's like, oh, thank you so much. I've been trying to get rid of this for years. Like, all right. Yeah. So keg, you got to have a log. Do I got to say a specific log or just log in general?
Well, is there a certain log you have a preference to?
All right.
Well, so in my opinion, a strongman log made out of wood. I know that I do a lot of my lifting these days with steel, but there's something about a wood log. And if you're going to say a Slater log, I'm going to say an old Slater log, not the new Slater logs. The new Slater logs are really nice. They're uniform. They look pretty. But I'm talking like from, what was it? World's Strongest Man, like early 90s, where they were pressing the one that had like the hand holes cut in it and like the bark was still there.
Yeah. They didn't really even know. There wasn't even like a uniform way of cleaning it and stuff yet. They were just kind of like everyone was guessing. Yeah. Everyone was just like making it up as they went.
My biceps still hurt. I still watch those old ones. So that's 2 Atlas stone of some variety. For the home gym though, it's got to be the stone of steel just because of space. So that's 3. So I got to do one more, and I'm going to go with probably the event I hate the most, but I wish I was better at, which would be like circus dumbbell.
Okay. Yeah, circus dumbbell doesn't take up much room in the home gym either, so it's kind of a nice piece to have that way.
Yeah, and I've got 3 of them now because I just had to buy another one. So
you had to.
Well, for home gym con for the.
You actually had to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did actually have to.
I was like, I had to buy another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, talking about home gym con then. So when is it? And were you there last year? And what are you doing? Are you hosting the strongman competition that's going on there?
Yeah. So last year I was there, and so Jake from Garage Gym Experiment hit me up and was basically like, hey, are you willing to basically wrap your entire gym up into a trailer, bring it out to French Lick, Indiana in April and be our strongman guy for home gym con? And so I jumped it. I love that kind of stuff because the home gym community is really awesome. The strongman community is really awesome. A lot of people in the home gym community think that strongman is really weird stuff and they never get a chance to touch the equipment. So I packed everything up, showed up, they paid my hotel. That was my incentive. And they gave me food and set it up. So yeah, it was great. Last year, it was pretty small, like as far as like vendors. Actually, a decent amount of people came through. This year, it's on April 27th, and is it 26th and April 26th and 27th, which is the Friday and the Saturday. And the Strongman competition that I'm the meet director for is on the Saturday, so on the 27th.
So are people already signed up? I mean, could someone still join if they were listening to this? Could they still get in on the competition, or is it full?
They should definitely still get in on it. So
okay.
I think by I got on Iron Podium a couple of days ago, and I think I had 14 or 15 athletes signed up, which is really low, but it is out in French Lick, Indiana. And the pricing, when we first worked out the pricing between Home Gym Con, because it comes with like a 2-day pass to Home Gym Con, as well as like I need to get t-shirts made. I got a Circus dumbbell, all that stuff. It was at $90 after the early bird. So I had some people that signed up at 90 after the early bird. The first 10 were like 65. And I was talking with Jake at Garage Gym Experiment. We got the price back down to 65 because I think that price was a little bit off-putting for some. Even though it is fairly competitive to some of the other strongman competitions.
That doesn't seem crazy to me. I mean, so
and then also got with. So I think I'm getting with Luke Meredith, who's the United States Strongman rep for Indiana, and he's gonna kind of help me push it. But one of the big things about strongman competitions is that usually they're hosted at gyms that have a strongman room. Right. So that means that there's already people invested in that gym, and those are the ones that show.
Right.
And then the weirdos like me that train in a home gym are the ones that are surfing Iron Podium trying to find one that matches up with like my training schedule. And so it's just been kind of low. So people definitely should go sign up. And the big reason is because if you sign up right now, there's like a 100% chance that you're taking home a prize that would cost you more to buy than your tickets.
Yeah. So you can't afford not to.
You can't afford not to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like finding money.
So will the competition, is that held outside or indoors then?
So it'll be a mix depending on weather. So First Form, which is the big supplement company, they're our title sponsor for the event, and they're bringing their big like F750 out for the truck pole, which will be outside when we do it, unless it's raining, and then it'll be an inside event. Obviously, I have a substitute scheduled. I'll pull it out of my rear when the time comes. But yeah, so it'll be all indoors, and we have 2 different competition areas. So it's really, really unique the way that Jake gave me the layout for Home Gym Con. So you have like the main event space, and at the far end of the event space, conveniently right next to the bathrooms, which were way nicer than the ones at the Arnold.
Wouldn't take much.
Well, it doesn't take too much. But there's two event spaces. So it should be fairly seamless. So I can be doing one event while I have some people setting up the second event. So it should be a pretty cool little area. It's really well located. It's like right next to Cerberus's booth is right there. They're one of the sponsors for the competition. I think AbMat is actually right there, and they're another one of the sponsors for the comp. Swing Sesh, which, have you guys ever heard of a Swing Sesh?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
You guys both got kids. You're going to want this after you look it up. So this Marine test pilot, who is a total badass, designed a swing set that has like this plastic dipped coating on it. That's like, it like hydrostatically discharges all of its crazy corrosion stuff. And it's a swing set that is also a gym. So like he's got a power rack built in.
I did see this.
I've seen something of that. Yeah, right.
I want one so bad. Super cool thing. But his Swing Sesh, which there was a ton of us last year at Home Gym Con, and we all like, so Tyler Obringer, probably saying his name wrong.
Big Tyler.
Yeah, so he got like on top of it, like up on like where the climbing rope was.
And he's
it
a
was
big guy.
like, and he's like, it was huge. And so we're all up on top of this thing, and Tyler's up on the top. Anyways, you can do that watching the comp because the Swing Sesh event thing is like overlooking where the competition.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it should be really awesome. Tons of giveaways, plus $400 prize packs for the first place in each division. And Jake and I finally started talking through. It'll be a a minimum $2,500 cash giveaway. We're still not quite sure how that'll be dispersed, but essentially it's going to be another one of those competitions that pays the athletes. So yeah, $65 barrier to entry, and I mean, at this point, you're pretty much guaranteed to walk out of there with something worth a lot more than what your ticket cost.
And there is a, like I've been looking at the map and stuff. There is a ton of vendors there that are committed to come to this year. You know, I mean,
I think it's over 70 now.
Yeah, and it's as far as equipment manufacturers go, like there is a ton of them there.
Yep, Rogue, Sornex, Rep. I think Bells of Steel just pulled out, but I think
they might be coming back though. It's what.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think they're on the fence.
Yeah.
Gosh, I almost don't want to name so like Surplus, Belt Fed.
Yeah. Is Straight Out Strength going to be there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Gosh, I don't think so. I should have asked him. I was actually just there today. Didn't think to ask.
Yeah, but there is. I mean, point being, there's a ton of like not all of them. We're talking about some that aren't, but there's a ton of equipment manufacturers that are going to be there. Is this the first Strongman event that you've ran before, like in this way?
Sort of. I had a major shoulder repair back in 2019. So I ran a comp in 2019 because I couldn't compete in it. But I wasn't like the meet director. It was actually Mike Badalino was the meet director.
Okay.
But I was helping out a whole bunch, doing a lot of the coordination, slinging 100-pound plates with like one arm. It was a good time.
Yeah. Do you think you get more anxious if you're had an upcoming competition you were competing in, or when you're running the entire thing?
When you're running it, it's way higher. Because when you're competing
so much higher.
It's kind of whatever.
It puts it into perspective of how unstressful it really is if you're competing in something.
It's
actually,
like, oh, you're the one that actually gets to have fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be great, but the pressure is definitely there because I also want it to be a really solid. I mean, I've got a ton of sponsors that have. I mean, obviously, there's pleasing the sponsors. The athletes are going to be happy. Let me just say that right off the bat. Like, especially if what we have today is all that shows up, they're going to be the happiest freaking group of athletes you've ever met in your life. Because, I mean, I'm going to have to like figure out how to like redistribute the prize packs from first form for first place because we don't even have each weight category filled yet.
Right.
There's some that just don't have competitors, especially in the female classes. I think I only have one chick right now.
Yeah, there's a real advantage there for like getting sponsors at that running an event at that location. You know,
sure
considering they're all going to be there, it makes it so you can have a pretty sweet group of sponsors that are in on it. Then,
yep, yeah, it'll be exciting. So, Surplus Strength, Belt Fed Strength, AbMat, First Form, Cerberus, and Freedom Strength Co. So, I've got the Kratos bar behind me. That'll be that's like the elephant bar from Cerberus.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the deadlift event for Home Gym Con. It'll be a max single rep, and then a Bridge Built, which is this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's this really awesome company run by Patrick Bilkowski. I can't remember his last. I'm going to mess up his last name.
Big Patrick. Yeah.
Big Patrick is making me these custom 26-inch wagon wheels, but they're his bulletproof plate design. And obviously he's going to take them back. I don't get them because they'd be like way outside of my budget, but still it's going to be an absolutely amazing event. So like some of the giveaways are really cool too. So like the AbMat crash cushions for the log, which are like $400.
Yeah. I just bought a set of those.
Well, if you'd shown up to Home Gym Con and competed, you could have taken them a second pair because so I've got my pair. And then I have the pair they sent me for Home Gym Con. So the warm-up area will have one, the stage will have one, and the stage ones are going to go home with somebody. Okay.
It's not, maybe it's worth mentioning, we won't be there in terms of a booth this year, but it's not completely ruled out yet that we may possibly be at Home Gym Con. It's being discussed as we speak. So possibly we'll have an appearance of some kind there.
I mean, if you're looking for good home gym equipment for Tommy, if he's wanting to ever switch over to the dark side,
just never leave my house.
So last year, a lot of people So I imagine you guys might fly based on the distance.
Yeah.
But I think we're trying to set up some sort of shipping because there was a bunch of people last year that flew that won. Like Bridgebuilt gave
Big
away
stuff.
one of they won like
Yeah.
big stuff, and so they had to figure out how to like get it back to their place. One of them happened to be a buddy of mine, so I got a free like ZX push sled out of it. I wasn't even in the drawing because I was working.
That's actually one of the hacks for the Arnold is if you show up to the Arnold with a trailer and then the last day everyone knows you have that trailer, you just become we don't even care, just take this.
Yeah.
I have the last couple of years at the Arnold, we have brought back
like thousands
maybe
of
our
dollars.
trailer's been heavier on the way home than it has been on the way there. So
That's awesome.
that is one of the many things I enjoy about the Arnold. That's certainly one of them.
I didn't know that one about the Arnold. That's a good hack to have.
Yeah. Also, I suppose, it helps that we know,
We're not
talk
just a
to everyone
random
that-
person showing up with the trailer.
We talk to everybody
we
that's
know
there
people.
and stuff. So yeah. Tommy, what do you think about a little overrated, underrated?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think that this game is underrated.
Oh, that's like getting a bonus one in there.
Yeah, that's like underrating the entire game. Yeah. Okay, so this is a special, you know the drill, but I'll say it anyways. This is a special KurtLocker set of topics handpicked for you, and you've got your druthers to elaborate on each one as much or as little as you'd like to. But the most important thing you got to remember is you can't ride the line. You already know. We talked about the Rhine lighting and how it can't be done. So here we go. Topic number 1, overrated or underrated. The Hurt Locker, the 2008 film starring Jeremy Renner.
The Hurt Locker is a severely underrated movie. And I will say that I have gone back and forth. I have full John Kerry flip-flopped on this several times. Now, as a young single man, when that movie came out, that movie, when chicks would ask, was 100% accurate. And then I went through like this purist phase where I was like, no, that's a bunch of crap and it's stupid. And then I've basically come back to, you know what, fuck it. Sure, the movie itself, like if one guy had all of that crap happen to him, and then he redeployed at the end of it, like he deployed again. Gee, oh my gosh, I'm not so sure about that, but it's underrated overall. Honestly, a great movie, I think. Especially there's like certain parts of that. So one of my really big rocks in my life is not to get dark. I'm not going to get dark, but like veteran suicide is a huge thing that I'm always trying to work after. I've had people that EOD techs that work for me that have committed suicide, really close friends that are gone now. And I thought that movie did a good job capturing a little bit of that specifically towards the end. So overall, underrated. I thought there were parts of it that were pretty awesome. Like when he's talking to like the not Afghan, because they're in Iraq for that movie, but like the Iraqi kid who like sells DVDs and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like when he comes back in the gate after going to like figure out who, where his buddy went. And when he comes back in the gate guard's like, where were you? And he's like, I was at a whorehouse. And the gate guard's like, can you tell me where? And it's like, and I'm thinking back and I'm like, where the fuck was there a whorehouse?
Yeah. I haven't seen that movie since it was basically new, but my one takeaway on it is I was deployed in 2009 and I watched that while I was I watched that like sitting in the desert, and not that I did anything all that high speed or anything like that. I don't want to make it sound like that, but it does seem even cooler at the time. I was like, yeah, like I was like at the time, I'm like, yeah, badass, kind of like that sort of feeling. But I haven't seen it since. I'd have to watch it.
It gets referenced all the time. We'll be at work. So like the name, the KurtLocker, comes from that, but it's not what you think though. So like my homie Ricky, so when I first got to Wichita Falls, Texas, my neighbor knew Mike Battolino, but I didn't know that, right? Because I'm like brand new, we're PCSing in. And so my neighbor's watching me like take gym equipment into the garage, and he's like, oh, one of my really good buddies has a home gym, blah, 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 blah. And like, keep in mind at this point in time, like I listen to the Starting Strongman podcast. This is like something I do. And he's like, oh yeah, his name's Mike Battolino. And I was like, wait, like the Mike? So anyways, fast forward, I get invited. So Kronos is an invite only gym. So I get invited, and Ricky, who is like first generation Mexican, he's an Air Force veteran. He got out during some sort of Manning force shaping that they did. And Ricky comes up to me, and he's speaking like the fastest Spanish I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like trying to, because I know like biblioteca and baño, and like, I'm pretty good at speaking Spanish. So I'm like listening to him talk, and I'm like trying to figure it out. And everybody in the gym who like knows that this is a ruse is like, oh, he's asking you this question or this question. And I'm like trying to explain. So like one of the questions that they said that he was asking was, what do you do for a living? And I was like, oh, I'm in the Air Force. And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, everybody's in the Air Force. And I was like, okay. So I'm like trying to explain, how do you explain to a guy when you don't speak the same language that you defuse bombs? Right. I'm like boom, like no boom.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, KurtLocker. And like at the time I was in that purist phase where I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sort of like that. And so Ricky keeps talking, and I was like, man, I really wish I paid attention in Spanish. And he like hits me, and he's like, yeah, I really wish that I paid attention in English. And I was like, so, it was a good time.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's the one that created the moniker. He called me KurtLocker that day, and that's where it came.
And history was made.
Yeah.
On that day.
Overrated or underrated Titan Fitness?
Oh gosh. Oof.
I don't know if it's not an easy question, I don't think, actually. So
they keep on teasing like it's gonna be a hard question, but they're overrated. And the reason that they're overrated is because so back when I created, it's like, I think it's my #1 video. It's like
I think so. I think it is. Yeah.
That sucks. Which is funny because I was just pissed because I got so much crappy stuff from Titan. And I think the last time I checked I've made cumulatively like $800 on that movie. It's been watched that much, which is great because I've never spent that much at Titan. But Titan keeps on like teasing like, oh, this is going to be our year. They like partnered with Coop, and Coop like,
I remember him making a big push for him with that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like nothing happened. Like nothing happens every year. So if Titan's going to be great at something, it's going to be pallets because Titan makes a whole bunch of stuff. They got like Titan Outdoors. So if you want to get like a dope fire pit that's import made in China and has bad welds, you can do that. But overrated, like to an extreme. I did think about it hard for a second, and I was like, no, they're just overrated because they just keep teasing and never providing.
That's fair. Okay, one more movie. Overrated or underrated Top Gun Maverick?
Oh, yes. All right. So this is what's difficult about this game. So Top Gun Maverick gets good reviews.
One of the highest rated movies of the year.
Yeah. And so if I say it's underrated, it should get more reviews. I can't say appropriately rated because that's riding the line.
Correct.
And it damn sure ain't. So it's underrated. Yeah. Just in every sense. I'm not sure how that came up as a specific question, unless you know.
Just I mean, you've worked on F-16s, I think, and stuff before, right? In your past at some point in time in some capacity. And
yeah. Okay, I didn't know if you knew. I was like, who the hell I was like thinking back to my aircraft maintenance days. And so my roommate and I, when I was stationed up in Alaska and I was working on Block 30 and Block 40 F-16s, we would watch Top Gun and Iron Eagle alternatively on Sunday every week. So like we watched Top Gun one week, and then it was Iron Eagle the next week, and then Top Gun. And it was basically just because all that I did in Alaska on the weekends was just get hammered because that's just what people do in Alaska.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know if you'd known that fact, but yeah, it's underrated as a franchise. It is underrated as a movie. Tom Cruise is underrated because I'm scared that I'll get killed by a Scientologist.
Top Gun Maverick is a good movie. Like there's just like, I was blown away actually, but it was just so much better than what my expectation was going into that event.
Especially for a sequel.
Oh God, especially for a sequel.
because they were like, oh, it's Goose's son. And I was like, oh, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. And I especially love that it like, so I do love aircraft still. After working on airplanes for a few years, you get a little bit jaded at times. But like the F-14, as much as if you look at it from like an energy maneuverability theory standpoint, it doesn't really score high as far as its power to, so its thrust to weight ratios. Like it was a really heavy airplane because it had those articulating wings, the sweeping wings. But it was just so fucking cool. I remember in EOD school, I'm sure it's still there, but in the Air Ordnance Division, they have an F-14 sitting out there. And that was like the first time I'd seen one in person. And it was one of these moments where you're like, fuck yeah. And then you get yelled at by an instructor. So still a cool moment. Just, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Last one for overrated, underrated. This one's sort of worth all the marbles, at least to some certain extent. So overrated or underrated, I'll ask you the topic and then I'll just give you a little bit of elaboration on it. But overrated or underrated military acronyms, because this is something that I got a kick out of my time in the Army, is just how many and how ridiculous the acronyms can get. And the reason I thought of this specific question for you, because someone said you got to ask him about NAVSCOL EOD. And I'm like, there is like 13 letters in that acronym. And I don't even know. And like the last one is already a common acronym of EOD. So I don't even know but the rest of it. So how do you say, and that's, I think it's EOD school or something like that. How do you say that acronym?
So so it depends. So just NAVSCOL, that's the common, we'll say like the vernacular, we just call it NAVSCOL within the community. Yeah. People that read that, they're like, oh, NAVSCOLiad. Yeah, right. NAVSCOL EOD, but basically, so the way that EOD is formed is it follows. So, oh man, how deep do we want to go down this rabbit hole? We'll start with NAVSCOLiad. We'll come back to acronyms. So when the EOD program in the United States first stood up in World War II, you had Major Kane with the Army, who is technically the true originator. And I'm willing to back that shit up, because as much as at the time, like Lieutenant Kaufman, so like 03 Navy Kaufman, he was the Navy version. So Kaufman was the first guy that defused a bomb at Pearl Harbor. So one of the Japanese ordnance that hit one of the ships, it didn't go off. So Kaufman, who was an ambulance driver World War I, he went there and he disarmed the first bomb in the United States, like on Hawaii. But Major Kane he's the one that stood up Aberdeen Proving Ground, essentially. Or at least that's where he was at. He stood up the original 9 bomb technicians. So all those eventually came together. The military being what it is, everything comes down to dollars. The Army was like, we'll take the EOD program. We can give this much money. The Navy was like, we'll take the EOD program and we'll give more money. And so now we all fall under the Navy. So even though I'm an airman, in order to earn an EOD badge, you have to go to NAVSCOLiad, which is a delightful Navy school explosive ordnance disposal on a beach on an Air Force base, which is kind of fun.
Okay,
that's surprisingly complicated, actually.
I feel did you say the word Aberdeen somewhere in there? I almost thought you said Aberdeen.
Aberdeen Proving Ground, yeah. So okay. Aberdeen Proving Ground, not Aberdeen, Aberdeen.
Western Northeast South Dakota.
It is Aberdeen Proving Ground, right?
I just felt like we couldn't gloss over the fact that you did say the word Aberdeen in there.
I did. I swear it's Aberdeen, yeah. I feel like I'm going full retard. But
I also thought Aberdeen Proving Ground, that is a thing, yes.
I also thought Major Kane not to be confused with Major Payne.
Right.
No, definitely not confused. Well, Major Payne was a Marine.
That's true. Yeah. Was he a Marine drill instructor too?
He was a Marine major that was a drill instructor.
That can't be a real thing, right?
No, that's not. No. When I was deployed with the 2nd Combat Engineer Battalion, which is the Marines out of Lejeune, I think he was the gunny. Was he a gunny? I don't remember what he was. The platoon sergeant that we were attached to, we would hang out and like talk about random stuff. And of course, I'm like, hey, like, I've never been to Marine Corps boot camp. And he's like, well, I used to be a hat. And I was like, excellent. Let's have a conversation. And I was like, could someone like Major Payne ever be a hat? And he's like,
Yeah.
No, yes, no.
So you are an NCO then, right?
Yeah, I'm a master sergeant.
Yeah. So you work for a living.
I mean, I'm in the Air Force. Let's not get crazy here, okay?
What about if it's, some people would say the chair force? What do you think of that?
Man, it's so accurate. I mean, we just talked about PT tests a little bit ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, some of these people, oh man.
Who else? Who did we have on that was Air Force a little bit ago?
Yeah, that's it.
Vintage Rob Vintage Weights Rob.
Yeah, he was an intel officer.
Oh, okay. So he was an officer.
Yeah.
He didn't work for a living. Okay.
Yep. He was an intel officer.
Okay.
So maybe. But so anyways, let's circle back real quick to acronyms.
Yeah. So overrated, underrated military acronyms.
So NAVSCOLIOD as an acronym is underrated just because it's really funny and because there's so many variations and it's so fucking confusing. Now acronyms in general are severely overrated. And I used to probably think that they were underrated, but the reason I think they're overrated is because I'm getting to the point now where like I'm the old guy, right? So like the new guys have invented new fucking acronyms, which is super frustrating, especially since like the later you get in your career, the more that you have to branch out and like deal with other career fields. So today I was sitting trying to learn like RF communications to a degree that's like way beyond the scope of a sling and bomb monkey. And they were like, oh, yes, well, we have an ATO to ATC with the DM set solution, which is ATAC, which is going to be for an EUD with ITAC running on a PyTac server with the MPU5 running with a BR163 green radio.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like I know what that means now.
Right.
But man, I Google so much shit. Like I'm sitting in those meetings and like you would think that all military guys know all military acronyms. I Google the hell out of stuff.
Do you think some people ever just pretend they know what they are?
100%.
That's what everyone's doing. That's what a lot of people are doing. I think they're just pretending they know what it is.
Dude, so there's people that don't even know what words mean. And I'm not saying you got to have like an extensive vocabulary. So like when I find like fun words, I'll kind of like use them every once in a while. So elucidated was a word, and I don't remember why that word came up as a word that like would exist in my life. But elucidated means to make clear. I'm kind of dumbing it down. Right? Yeah, obviously. I mean, because if it was,
we all knew that clearly.
Yeah. So I put elucidated on a awards package and submitted it up. And I'm sitting in this meeting talking with this E9, and the E9's like, elucidated, I don't even know what that word means. And I was like, oh, it means to make clear. They're like, how do you know that? And I was like, because I wrote the package. And then it was kind of like quiet and awkward for a second because like this person outranks me. And I was like, you're welcome for the lesson. So I kind of like testing the water.
Yeah. That's good.
I don't care about getting promoted anymore, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's a good spot to be in, actually.
Oh, it pisses people off though.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at non-commissioned officer, not to extend my time here and just so I was at the non-commissioned officer academy in 2017. And again, I look up words, and I'm a big fan of like Princess Bride as well. So like I like to work a lot of Princess Bride references in. Princess Bride's the greatest movie ever made. So there's this guy in my class, and he's just a total fucking douchebag. Like he's like the world's biggest douche. And he's like an AGR, which is an active guard reserve, because we're talking acronyms. Yeah. So like he's a active member in the guard, and he was just such a jerk for like no reason. And he kept on using like these big words that made him sound smart. And it's like me sitting next to this cop, the security forces dude who I'm still buddies with. And the cop just kept laughing because for that 6-week course, I had the dictionary.com website up on my computer. And every time he was using these words, I was like looking them up, and I had a Word document created with all of these words, what they meant in the way that he used it. And it was like all wrong, like not even close to being right, like completely. And like every time he'd do it, like during break, he'd be like, this word, you keep saying it. I think you think it means what it doesn't mean.
Yeah. Now that's the military for you.
Yeah.
Good news, though. We did just tally things up while we were talking there, and you did pass overrated, underrated. So we will get to air this episode.
Nice. I'm so happy that happened. I was really sweating it.
Yeah. So you should
Well,
feel
it's
proud about
hydrating.
that. Yeah. You can put that up there, like with your military retirement, your the honor of running the first strongman show at home Gym Con.
All
passing
equally
overrated,
prestigious.
underrated. Right. So what else where should people find you? I mean, it's the YouTube channel. That's what I would recommend. The Instagram channel, I would recommend that. And then also, if anyone wants to know more about Home Gym Con, especially the Strongman event there, that you'd be the guy to talk to, obviously, right?
Absolutely. Slip into those DMs on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way. You can also message on a YouTube video. I do respond to almost every single comment that gets put on YouTube. I get a notification. So if you comment, I'll get the notification. But DMs is the best way. If you go to the Iron Podium, you will find my phone number and send me a text. I don't care. I just warn you, I suck at texting. Like I'm very forgetful. So if you text me and I text you back and I say I'm going to do something for you and I don't do that thing, you need to text me again.
Fair warning.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Big Kurt, we appreciate it. I think this is a good episode. Will we see you at the Arnold this year for sure then, or?
There's like a 98%, 97.75% chance that you will see me at the Arnold. Usually it's my birthday.
The places you'll go. The places you'll go.
Now I'm excited for the Arnold. I wasn't before, but now I am.
Yes. I need to get a new set of jorts that fit.
We know just the guys to help you out with that. So we'll see you there for sure. Who knows? Maybe we'll even see you in April. We'll see about that.
It'll be great.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Kurt.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.
Deuce.
Cool beans. Cool beans. Cool beans.
There they are.
Those cool beans didn't blow up on them, did they?
No, those are CBs. Cool beans.
I
see what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there. Let's see. Do you have an ad to read? Did you read an ad or did you already read one?
I do have an ad to read.
Okay,
You're right.
Do that. And then I've got a topic for us to talk about too.
This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he had ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was born. It was strong as a house with the best early and was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit texaspowerbars.com.
Just to give everyone a quick update, because I've updated everyone along the journey for the York Roundhead Dumbbell collection. I got my full pair of 9s, which is the rarest, hardest. I had just one single for a long time, and now I actually found a separate pair.
So now you got 3.
So now I have 3.
So
I
are you
will
going to
have
be
one
hitting
on
the
trading
resale
block.
market pretty soon here?
I'm not in a rush, and it's a single 9 is the kind of thing that can be worth even more than its monetary value. So that may be trade bait for something that I need at some point in time. So let's put it this way: I know what I've got.
All right, yeah, you're playing chess.
No
not
low
checkers
ball
here.
offers.
Yeah.
I know what I've got.
He's firm on this.
So I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. I mean, I want to turn it into something else I'm missing more than I want to turn it into a few $100. But so I got those 9s. I got the other one that is like questionably a part of the collection. It is the half-pound Salesman sample pair.
What?
So the traditional pair goes from
will I find
1
that if I
pound.
Google that?
Yeah, if you do York Roundhead Dumbbell half-pound Salesman sample, you'll see them. They weigh a half pound each. They were like literally the salesman sample, I believe. They said like, hey, here's what you could be buying, like this set of York dumbbells. Big Efren, actually, out of Big Efren's greedy gold palms, I snuck a pair of these gold half-pound salesman sample dumbbells from him. Actually, those should show up this weekend. And then when we're in Columbus, I'll be picking up my 80s, 90s, and 95s. All this to be said, the only pair of dumbbells that I'm missing in the entire collection at this point is a pair of 85-pound York roundhead dumbbells. So if anyone listening knows or has or knows anyone that has potentially a pair of 85-pound York roundhead dumbbells that we can somehow get in my hands in western northeast South Dakota, hit me up. Open to all possibilities.
Are
there.
Those hard to come
no
by?
No lowball offers. I know what I need.
Are those ones hard to come by?
The 85s are relatively hard to come by, but they're not. They're hard for a couple reasons because they end in 5, and anything over 50 that ends in 5 is rarer than anything that ends in 0. They're rare slightly in the sense that they're very heavy, because the heavier they get a little bit rarer also. So like the 95s is a pretty rare pair.
Okay.
The 100s is also a pretty rare pair because it's the most expensive. But the 85s, it's maybe if I'm going to say 9s, 12s, 100s, 95s, it's maybe like the 5th or 6th.
Oh, it is. So
or 7th
it is up
rarest
there.
pair.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I'm just really way overanalyzing it when I even say that, but it's not. I should be able to track down a pair at a fair price, but I need somebody's. If anyone's got any leads on an pair of 85s, and that will officially. Did you find the half-pound salesman?
I actually had trouble finding a picture of them here.
Okay.
I have York roundhead dumbbell half-pound salesman sample, and unless I just skipped over the picture, I don't even see one on Google anywhere here.
They are fairly rare.
I mean, apparently even photos of them are rare.
And
see some 3-pounders here, but that's about all.
You'll be able to see this a little bit. I've got them right here. I mean, they're just itsy bitsy, tiny little half-pound each dumbbell.
Kind of looks like a paperclip.
Yep. So those are on the way. Exciting news for me and nobody else, because nobody else probably really cares. The other thing I wanted to discuss is the IPF Sheffield SBD powerlifting meet is going on February 10th.
Oh, it is.
So that's
moved up, isn't it?
I don't know when it was last year.
For some reason, I thought it was after the Arnold. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Actually, you know when it was last year? Last year was the same day as the South Dakota State powerlifting meet, because I remember I was watching the Sheffield, and then later that day I went to Jonah's gym, but I actually don't remember when that was now.
That could be similar then, possibly. So, but I know this one is February 10th, and it's the same structure as last year, how they pick winners.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. The most interesting thing is
Jesus.
Jesus. He has lifted, now I think his lifts off the top of my head that I've seen, he did 1,047-pound squat single in prep for this, a 617-pound bench, something like that, and then like a 938-pound.
And that looked so easy.
Deadlift.
Like
the
so
deadlift looked
easy.
really easy. So I think that's a gym training total of 2,600 pounds.
Yeah. That's when I'm most excited to see, like, what's going to happen there.
That's insane.
It's so hard to say, but you just do wonder on that day that moving those amount of weights in a relatively quick flight too. Yeah. How do you hold up? But it's nuts.
I mean, you still got to do it. That being said, like he's done these numbers in the gym, but in order to get that 2,600-pound total, you still got to do it at the meet, which is he kind of last year proved that he is capable of doing that. So I wouldn't be betting against him, but there's still always that factor in powerlifting. You got to not be hurt. Like he can't be hurting, he can't be like,
gotta feel
oh,
good.
my back's bugging me.
He's got
And
travel
he's got,
too, a fairly
right,
significant
right.
amount of travel ahead of. Like there's a lot of variables there, but
and then he's basically got to go like 9 for 9. He's got to hit all of his lifts to put that total together.
it would be cool
But
to
if
see
he
that.
does, well, and you also assume he's planning on doing more in the meet. That if things go as they should, you're peaked for the meet. He's going to have more weight on the bar than he did in training. So. What's the numbers there? Like that tells me over 1,050-pound squat, be push. I don't know. Deadlift is the trickiest one because
just
can you do that after the
at
squat?
the end of the day,
after,
what's left
after benching 600?
But also
pounds.
that 900 whatever pound deadlift was the easiest looking lift out of the three of those, though. And
that was.
And like he got to the top
looking.
and just held it like it was nothing. Everyone else just seems like they struggle once you start getting over 900 pounds. And he was just chilling there with it.
Yeah, so that he is obviously the most exciting, without us analyzing the finer details of this, because quite frankly, we don't know about or care that much about the finer details. But that's the headliner, is to see what he does there.
For sure.
Like that's what I'll be really curious to see.
Yep, that would be the reason worth watching.
Because if he totals 2,600 pounds
or more
in those conditions, or more, essentially we're talking then about the highest powerlifting total of anyone of, and he's going to do it in sleeves and on the bars and stuff. At a certain point, I don't know how much some of the stuff does or doesn't matter, but kind of is doing it under like the
and what is arguably the strictest standards too.
Right. There again, he's got to do it.
Yep.
Just like in theory, someone being able to do it and actually doing it is still harder. But if he does, that's pretty insane.
It absolutely is. And then if he does that, it's okay. He's still young though. How much longer does he keep this going?
Would he be able to do 2,700 pounds in a few years? Like he's doing something now that it's like 3 years ago, people would have been like, well, that's not possible. You would have just said, yeah, right. And now he's doing that.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense. It also makes you wonder, okay, 5 years from now, though, who's the next guy?
That's
how it goes. It's just 5 years from now, there's another guy.
And you'll be like, oh, yeah, remember Jesus? He used to be pretty good.
Remember when people were hyped for a guy to hit 2,600 naturally? Well, here's this guy now. And he's only 22.
He's 12.
Yeah, he hasn't graduated.
And he weighs 112
yet.
pounds. That's like that's the other thing. Some of the people they're like, yep, they're 75 kilos.
Yeah, and he can sumo deadlift 1,200 pounds. So,
like what? How? Why? Yeah, that's so that's what I know about the Sheffield. Do you know anything else different?
That's
than that,
more than I know about the Sheffield.
Okay, so we now know the same amount about the Sheffield then, pretty much. You know what else I know a little bit about?
What's that?
Juggernaut AI. It is the highest rated strength training app, and they are always committed to improving it to help you reach your goals. You can sign up for, let's see, what's the cost is about $30 a month. When you use discount code Massenomics, it saves you 10%. It gets it right down to about $30 a month, and you can trust them because since 2009, Juggernaut has been your trusted training source, helping tens of thousands of athletes reach their goals. As a matter of fact, they now have over 140,000 users of Juggernaut AI. That kind of tells you something, doesn't it?
That's a lot of people.
140,000 users?
That's a large Midwest city right there.
It is a large Midwest city filled with people all using Juggernaut AI. They just
lifters.
are going about their business. They'll be like, oh, what do you got today? Oh, RP8 squats.
You too, huh?
Be like, oh, I'm doing power building. But yeah, you can do their powerlifting program, their power building program. They even have like something that's maybe more specifically catered to a BJJ training if you do that sort of thing. That ain't my bag, baby, but maybe it's yours. Check them out. Check out all the options. You can even sign up for a free trial. I think you get that for a month. It's juggernautai.app. That's where you can sign up, and that's where you can use discount code Massenomics.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. And I gotta change up my script here a little bit.
Big Kurt was also a Barefoot
He
Shoes
is a Barefoot Shoes guy.
He's got a good Barefoot Shoes video. Go check that.
If you have
video
any
out on
questions
Kurt's
about Barefoot Shoes or you're interested in what they're all about, go watch the KurtLocker's recap on them, because he goes into some pretty good detail on all of their options, including their shoes, like the Ursus, high top and low top, the Oso, and also the winter favorite, the Bruin boots. Barefoot Shoes has been Tanner and I's favorite footwear in the gym for, 3 years now, Tanner? 2 years now? How long have we been rocking Barefoot Shoes?
It's too long to count almost. I was wearing them. We were training together this week, and I was wearing Barefoot Shoes.
I lost track. And then out of the gym, we love the boot too. This time of year especially, the boot gets lots of wear. It's made of a high-quality leather, and it keeps that great barefoot feeling that you've known and loved from their shoes. If you'd like to get a pair of Barefoot Shoes for yourself, go to www.barefoot.store. And while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics, and you'll save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thank you, Barefoot. Okay. Don't forget our drop we mentioned. We talked about the new socks and the new beanies, the new toques that we've got for sale, black or gray. And then the new socks, the black and gray socks that we've got. And then the new tee, the new mystery tee that, well, actually we could just say it at this point, right? Because nobody's listening live. And by the time this, so we should talk about it.
Okay. This podcast just got 30 minutes longer.
Yeah. Well, we just a little bit here. We came out with the chicken bake t-shirt. Finally, y'all thought we couldn't do it. We actually did it. We came out with the chicken bake t-shirt. So it's the gray chicken bake t-shirt with chicken bake. And of course, in case you forgot, 52 grams of protein.
The most important macro profile you'd ever need to know.
52 G's of P, as I like to say.
Kind of how we, we're cool like that.
Yeah. And then the flag was the, our powerlifting record holder flag.
Great in any gym.
It's right-sized for your gym.
Your family, any family member that doesn't know could come in off the street and see that and say, "Oh, you're a record holder? Incredible!"
Like, wow, Johnny, I always knew you were going places.
I always knew this wasn't totally a waste of your time in here. I knew you'd amount to something.
Yeah, so buy the chicken bake tea. If there's even any left, I don't even know. They're going to be hot and fresh, just like the actual chicken bakes are. Should we finish this? Should we finish this song?
Bring it on home.
Yeah, bring it on home, Johnny.
Hit me with your best shot, Pat.
Subscribe on our YouTube channel if you're not already. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Got a few new ones of those over the last weeks here. Seeing that number going up. Make sure to become a supporting member of the podcast if you're not already. You're going to get in just before this line in the sand. You're going to get in at a memorable moment in Massenomics history.
This is February. February is the month. So
yeah, February is the month. My name is Tanner. You can follow me at, Tommy, where do they find you at? You usually
can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.